Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. I am Jay LaBeouf, and I'm the head of business development here at Descript. I don't know really the first thing about social media, which is why it's important to bring in people who do. That's one of the things that we try to do here is you've seen me on a lot of the early Descript intro webinars, how to use screen sharing, how to do audio editing, podcast production, video editing. Those are things that I know. But a lot of you have written in over the years and asked, okay, how do I use Descript to create compelling social media content? And that's what we're going to talk about today. I brought in a good friend and somebody that I trust very much, Carrie Zhang, who is going to walk you through how to do this and give you some best tips along the way. The best thing I can do is fill in with Descript related advice, but not give any social media related advice. So to get started, just let us know, where are you all joining us from? You're going to add your comments and questions in the YouTube chat window. If you're viewing this and you can't see the chat window right now, connect directly to YouTube. You will be able to see the comments window, and that's how we are going to field your questions. Chris is behind the scenes. Chris is going to pop questions up on the screen today, such as Microtel in, putting this on the screen. Thank you so much. So let us know where you're connecting from today and start getting the questions going. So I'm in San Francisco. It's Pacific time. It's a beautiful sunny day out, a little windy, but overall, I cannot complain for wintertime. Carrie, where are you joining from?
I am joining from Southern California, a town called Fontana. It is extremely windy outside, so that it sounds, sometimes I'll wake up and it sounds like there's like a screaming woman. But in reality, it is just the wind. So that's how my day is going. But really happy to be here.
Fantastic. Well, we are thrilled to have you. As people are telling us where they're joining, I'm going to put you on the spot. If there's something that you could ask that helps you get to know the audience a little bit better, what would you want to know?
Yeah, I mean, on the topic of social media, I'd want to know like how you like to use social media. What are your intentions and what is your purpose? A lot of people use social media for different things, whether it's for expressing your own ideas and work, or if it's just for fun, I'd love to know that. All
right. Fantastic. So let us know how you are intending to use social media, and that will help give us some additional context.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of folks joining from the UK. Thank you for joining us late in the day. Put this back on. John from Middletown, Rhode Island, which is probably 20 minutes from where I grew up in southeastern Massachusetts. Great show from Ireland, from Scotland. All right. Provo, Utah, Athens, Holland. Amazing. Okay. So a couple things about how people are looking to use social media, Carrie. They're just starting and they would love the top 5 tips.
Love it.
Benjamin, yeah. You're already thinking in terms of great shareability, giving us your top 5. Vancouver, great. Kirsten, I'm using Facebook and Instagram to promote my business, communicate with my clients.
Yeah.
Chris, I'll let you click on the other ones as they're flying across my screen too fast. All right, great, Devin. Short video clips, fast turn from live events.
That's great. Mm-hmm.
Trying to build content strategy for podcast projects, growing Patreon supporters, learning how to make social media fun instead of a drag. If Carrie can teach me how to do that, that would be great too. Awesome. Nashville audiograms. Awesome. We'll definitely cover that. Facebook and IG to promote their podcast.
Great. Yes.
For networking, connecting with other people, sharing similar impact interests, share insights in the industry. Awesome. Awesome. Let's do 2 more. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, primarily LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And LinkedIn only. So awesome. That really helps. Frame this. So a little context. I first started working with Carrie as part of Amplify, which is a creative agency that Descript collaborates with a lot. And Carrie's contributed a lot to some of the Descript campaigns that you might have seen over the past. Some of you that are influencers, you might be working with Carrie as well. But generally, we thought she'd be a fantastic domain expert, both on the work she does with professional clients through her creative agency, but also on some nonprofit work that she's doing. So Carrie, what's the best way? How do you want to lay this out for us?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to address people's different use cases of social media. I'm seeing a lot of, I use it for social purposes or for networking purposes, which is really, really cool. That's so great. And then I'm seeing a lot of, I use social media for I use Facebook and Instagram to promote my business, which is fantastic. One thing, I don't know if it's the Gen Z in me who's like, loves social media. Well, there are so many ups and downs to it, but I think it's really important that it gives you the agency to be able to, create your own story, whether it's for yourself or for your brand or just telling the story that you want to tell. So I think that's pretty fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could sort of talk about, so the way I use social media, yes, I work with professional clients, working with creators to collaborate on different ideas for YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and stuff like that. But I also have my own project, which I use Descript for, and I use, different social media platforms for. It's called the Asian Mental Health Project, and that's really cool. It sort of ties into the use of social media because I wanted to make a platform that makes topics like mental health and healthcare more accessible, and what's more accessible and digestible than making things into social media clips and images and stuff like that. So that's sort of what I use it for across the board.
All right. So before we get into the screen sharing piece, maybe let's zoom out a bit. Talk about platform considerations. So first off, we've seen people talking about Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. So what types of content perform best on different platforms? And are all things equally postable on every platform?
They are not. So I like to say that if you're doing a social media strategy, make sure you have one for each platform. It's more important that you have a really robust, good strategy across different individual platforms than to sort of post everything on every single one of them. So for example, I saw someone talk about TikTok and Instagram. I love to use the new functions, Instagram Reels and TikTok, they all shoot in vertical video. So that is super important to sort of utilize that aspect. So I think first, to break it down, to zoom out a little bit, look at the platform and see how you're consuming it. If it's an Instagram scroll through, it's probably going to be, wider. It's going to be taller. You're going to use the vertical formats. But if you're on LinkedIn, you're consuming it on the computer. So when I see LinkedIn posts, I tend to scroll and stop when, there's a video that's high quality, wider set, sort of that I could watch on my whole screen. And you also want to consider the purposes of each one. So for example, I go on LinkedIn to network and also to learn. So if you have an educational shareable piece of content on LinkedIn, that's where I would put it. Or, that's also where I get some news. On Twitter, I'm sort of scrolling pretty quickly. So I like to make little snappy content for Twitter. And you also want to consider, the dimensions. Twitter banners and LinkedIn banners and Facebook banners will have different sizes. And then for Facebook, that's also, they allow a variety of different video and photo sizes. But it's been shown that video content performs better, or it's more engaging because you're more likely to scroll and then stop and then watch it. The other thing that I would consider with platforms is making sure they're as accessible as possible. So the use of captions so that people don't have to watch videos with sound, that is super important. So I know that was a ton of information in a nutshell, but to zoom out, just look at each platform, see what works for each platform, what size everything, how you're scrolling through it, and then try to make content that caters to that.
Fantastic. So having kind of different strategies for each platform. Also, it's a great call on burning in the captions. So especially most of us are scrolling through a lot. The videos on these platforms are almost always set up to autoplay. So you're going to want text that appears right away.
Exactly.
All right. So let's talk about editing down content. What are some of the considerations that we should have in mind when we're editing down some of these longer bits of content for social media sharing? You know, I've seen, you know, a lot of people who are writing in. I'm just putting some on the screen, like really just making mini clips of their podcasts to share out.
Yes.
So what are some of the tips we'd want them to know as people are thinking of editing down their content?
Yeah, I think the tips for that, you know, keep it short and sweet for the most part. If you're going to tease a bit of your podcast or tease a bit of your video. And then the other front is, you know, pick what you think is the most shareable. You know, people share things on social media because, you know, they're either educational, they have some sort of, you know, wow factor, surprise factor, or, you know, they feel like it's something that relates to them. So you pick the part that you find most important. And then, you know, I would compile that into something and then share it on your social media platforms. The other tip is, you know, I try to make it a little visually appealing. You know, whether it's in, you know, we're going to go over audiograms, you know, whether it's in a little bit of a motion graphic or a really nice graphic, or it's a video of you, you know, doing your thing. I think it's super important to make it both visually appealing, but also get to the juicy, the good parts of your podcast that you want people to you know, to sort of hear about. You know, it's sort of like when short and sweet, probably, you know, it depends on the platform, but I'd say like a minute or under oftentimes. I believe for TikTok, you can go up to a minute. For Reels, you can go up to 30 seconds. IGTV, you can go up to it, I think, as long as you want. So really, it depends on the content that you want to share. I think, you know your content best. So, you know, picking the parts that you really want to highlight. It's sort of like when you're writing a news article or you see journalists, they put the headline and then it makes people want to click through it. You know, it highlights the important parts of the article or it highlights the important parts of the video. That's what you want to highlight through these, so people will be like, oh my gosh, that's something that really resonates with me. I want to click through and I want to look and see what's happening there.
Awesome. Well, let's dive into sharing your screen and looking at a few of these things. So one of the things that we actually started with platform considerations, and we talked about resizing video and changing dimensions. So maybe you can walk us through what do you have in this project, and how might you go about resizing it?
Yeah, so this is a project that I plan to post on Instagram Reels. So, Reels is vertical. It takes the whole phone screen. So when I was setting the composition, I believe, I went to this composition slide over here, which I use this track inspector area, and I set it to portrait, set the resolution, and I sort of kept the frame rate as is, making it as simple as possible. I just, it was really quick and easy to sort of change it through here. And I know if you change these different aspects, I'm scared. I'm going to click it. Is that okay, Jay?
Please do.
What'll it do for me? Oh, look at that. There we go. So it sort of resizes it automatically to landscape and then automatically to square, which is really cool for Instagram feed posts. But again, I personally, for this one, I wanted to use portrait because that'll fill my whole phone screen. And this was just shot with my iPhone, with just the front camera. That sort of goes to show you don't have to have the most advanced equipment, just a phone will do to be able to create content that, resonates with folks. So yeah, so that's how I set my dimensions. I wanted it portrait mode there.
Awesome. So Carrie, do you mind if I help show people a few things with your screen?
Please do.
I noticed you seemed a little nervous when you changed changed the dimensions. So how about this? Some people are watching and they're thinking, oh no, I need it square. So do me a favor. Imagine, you brought it in. Now you don't want to do vertical. You don't want to do portrait. So change the composition.
Okay.
Just click on edit and then change it to square.
Okay.
Great. And you can do custom too for anybody out there who's curious. Cool. Now notice in your video, you have a vertical slice and you have the black bars on the side. People often write in and say like, I want it to be zoomed in. So just click on your image.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
Now you'll notice you have sliders for adjusting the scale and the location. So by adjusting scale, when you click on your video, you can actually just make your video bigger.
Oh.
And then you could click on your nose and drag it up and down to recenter.
Oh my goodness. I know. I was like, that's just a straight nostril shot right there.
Exactly. Awesome. So that's how you would go. And the same principle applies if you need to swap things back and forth between different aspect ratios. You can just click on that and easily scale the video. In this case, just bring it back to 100%.
All right.
Awesome. And then you can set the position back to, so the Y position back to 50.
Aha.
There you go. And now we'll put us back to vertical video.
Excellent. I love that. Wow, that was super simple. I'm going to be playing around with that a lot. Okay, awesome.
All right. Very cool. One of the things that it's fun. We actually get some good stuff going on in your audio stream. So you're using Loopback to do audio today. Loopback actually degrades your audio subtly unless you've entered the purchase code information. So if you haven't, I'm hearing that, I've heard that before. So we'll take a quick pause for you to enter the purchase activation code in there.
Okay. Let me grab that. Okay.
I know. Chris behind the scenes was like, what on earth is going on? It sounded like that windstorm, it was starting to kick in.
The windstorm, the Fontana winds. Oh, I apologize. Let me grab it for you.
Absolutely. So while you're doing that, Carrie, and I put everything you should need in Slack.
Yes, got it.
Awesome. Very cool. So Diane asked, can you please tell me what the M and the S is? So you're probably looking next to the script. The M is for mute and the S is for solo. So these are like things you'd have on a typical mixing console. Mute would be mute the track, I don't want to hear it. Solo would be I only want to hear this track. In this case, there's only one script, but if Carrie had music tracks in there too, you could listen to those individually. Another question would be, why? Thank you very much. Do you need to start a new composition for each audiogram? We'll get to that in a second. In short, no, you don't. You could just export individual things based on a selection from the same audiogram, or you could duplicate your composition. But we'll get to that in a second.
Awesome.
All right, Carrie, your audio sounds so much better.
Is it better? Woohoo! Okay, I was like quietly in the background trying to make sure that things are up to speed.
Very cool, very cool. So we've taken care of some of the resizing and changing video dimensions. We get your audio sounding awesome again.
Sweet.
And now let's talk about the content editing piece that we were just talking about. So you were talking about, one-liners, things that are short and sweet. Maybe what would you do to this content on the screen in order to get it ready to share?
Yeah, so this, I was sort of talking through a few things that are in, for context of this video, it was like, this is what's in my anxiety toolkit, things to manage, anxiety at home. But, when doing that, there were a lot of pauses, there were little ums and and stuff like that. So that is something I would probably cut out right off the bat. But at the same time, I'd also probably just want to highlight like a line from each of these products that I'm highlighting. So, I'd probably do a line of intro, and then a line of this next, talking about lavender essential oil, stuff like that. So what I would want to do is sort of extract that or cut it down so that it's just those lines that I want.
Awesome. Cool. So, do you want to take us through something that you might want to share?
Totally. Yeah. So, let's see. So I sort of want to cut down the filler words. So yeah. I know.
And actually for fun,
yes.
Why don't you click at the beginning of your composition and hit the tab key so we can kind of see what your raw take is, see what we're working with.
Okay.
Hey everybody, I'm Carrie from Asian Mental Health Project, and I wanted to share with you 5 things that are in my anxiety toolkit. Now, an anxiety toolkit for me are, tangible items that I use to help mitigate and manage my anxiety. Obviously this is not the full picture. These are just tools that I like to use that help aid my overall healing and mental health journey. So the first thing I want to show you is this lavender essential oil. Now this is really helpful.
Okay.
Does that work? Perfect.
That's great. Okay. So you were saying, and we see some underlines in there.
Yes, we sure do.
What are those and what should we do with them?
These are words that I don't want in there. I say, like it's my California accent that prompts me to use ums and likes and is a lot. So I wonder, how to quickly get rid of them. And I know it's outlined automatically. So what would I do to get rid of all these filler words?
All right. So you see them all underlined. That's not something that Carrie did. Descript detects filler words automatically. And we see a couple of no's. So very Californian.
So many. I'm embarrassed.
That's all good. So what you want to do, you could do them one at a time, but if you did want to do them kind of automagically, what you would do is just right click on one of the filler words.
Okay.
And then context menu. Let's see if
there we go. Yeah.
Remove. There we go. And so you could say remove filler words.
Okay.
And then that's going to pop up something on the left side of the screen. So if Descript has about 25 different ways of doing things. So you could do it like this. You could also click on that wrench icon at the menu bar kind of underneath the playhead. That's where you can find a couple of things like shorten word gaps, remove filler words. Or the last thing, Carrie, if you can click anywhere in the middle of your composition, that's great. And then hit Command K.
Command K.
All right. So Command K is the conductor. This is similar to a quick switcher that you would have in Slack or a lot of tools where you can basically just tell Descript what you want it to do and we'll figure it out. So if you typed in filler, then we'll start auto-completing it as, oh, do you want to do that? And then that'll take you to the action in Descript. So you could click on that again. And now we're going to have your filler words on the left side of the screen.
Awesome. I mean, that's really cool. I like that you could do it in 3 different places, so it's like, I don't have to go search for different functions. It's just right at the palm of my hand. That's really great.
Absolutely. And John, I could not agree more. Command K or Control K on Windows. So we're starting to get some questions. Jamie already asking, what does delete audio without affecting video mean? So let's talk through this window we have on the screen right now.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing, this is the filler words removal. So Carrie, if you want to click where it says at the very top next to filler words, like,
okay.
This is the list of filler words. And so if you have some, like if Carrie wanted to keep in the you would just unclick
mm-hmm.
and we would keep it there. Same thing for ums. Sometimes you want to keep those in, but another one you don't want.
Yeah.
In this case, we'll keep them all in. And now you could go through and one at a time, you could either audition where they are and remove them or apply your changes. Now, a couple of things you can do.
Sometimes
that
helps me. So
okay, cool.
So yeah, you're noticing if you click on it, it starts playing it automatically, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is because some new functionality that we introduced called Spot Audition is on. Those are those headphones that you see to the left or to the immediate right of the up and down arrow towards the bottom. Yeah, you could, if you click that, and you could turn it off if you so wanted to. Most of the time, we think it's useful to be on. Yeah. And at this point, now we're going to want to just take a batch action. So you see, we have some choices. We could remove the media. And we could either delete it, we could delete the audio without affecting the video, or we could ignore it. So Carrie's going to select remove media. Now, the other options she had up, there was correct transcript, for example. So if you want to keep in all of your filler words, but you just want the captions, what appears on the screen, to not have those filler words, that's what you would do, is correct transcript. And now all the ums and are gone, but then they're still in what you're saying.
Yeah.
So we'll keep it on remove media. And then the difference between delete and ignore. Delete basically just snips out the text and also the audio and or video, whereas ignore actually puts a little strike through it. So that way, as you're going, you can kind of test out what's going along. So let's just do ignore so that way people can see what's going on.
Okay, I'll click ignore.
Yep, absolutely. And there was a question about, hey, what does delete audio without affecting video? So if Carrie had selected that delete audio without affecting video, whenever Carrie would say a filler word, her audio would mute, but the video would keep playing. So this is useful for when I'm editing screen shares or things when my lips are not appearing on the screen. It will just have a little gap where there was a filler word. It actually doesn't sound that unnatural. It just kind of gives you a little bit of a pause, but it keeps the flow of the video going.
Yeah.
In this case, we're just going to say ignore. And by saying ignore and clicking apply all, we're actually applying a jump cut to the video. So now, for fun, Carrie's going to click somewhere and hit the tab key.
All right, to the tab key.
Adorable and fun, but also really positive. And sometimes that helps me. So I am going to stick with this.
Look at that. Okay.
All right. So that might work for you. And if Carrie, if you wanted, let's say like that, that we just played, if you wanted that back, you could actually just right click on that, and then, like I said, instead of right clicking on it, you would actually select it.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Oh,
there we go. And so you would select the text, and now you see next to the wrench is the ignore button.
Next to the wrench. Ah!
You could click that and then unignore it.
Oh,
and now it's back. So that's something that my preferred workflow is I go through, I ignore all, and then I play through it. And there are times, like, let's be realistic, there's times that it's not going to work. It's not going to sound as natural as you want. And then I unignore it to bring it back in.
Yeah, no, that's great. Just because sometimes the ums and you knows, like, this is excessive on my screen. I have a lot of that. But sometimes it's good to keep those in to make it's a natural conversational flow. So sometimes I like to keep those in just for like authenticity's sake. I think that's super important to convey on social media.
Awesome. All right. So now we have this trimmed. A couple of quick other questions just to address while we're here. Is this being recorded? Yes, this is on YouTube. This will be available on the YouTube playlist within minutes after we're done with this session. And then just wanted to point out, does Descript offer online training and certification? Great question, John. So we try to put everything, all of our little short courses on YouTube under the live events playlist. But if you have any further needs or questions, definitely reach out to me or join our Discord community, which Chris will share the link shortly, or also put it in the YouTube comments. You can reach out to us with additional questions. We don't have a formal certification program, but I love that idea. Okay, so we're content editing. We've removed a bunch of the ums and ahs and knows. Let's say, do you want to grab? Is there a piece that you think you might want to share out? Like
I mean, I think I'd want to share out what an anxiety toolkit is. Okay. That's something that's super important for me. This sort of section just sort of implies that, like, you can build your own toolkit. It's more shareable, I think, because of that. These sort of go into the specifics of what's mine. But yeah, this is something that I'd probably, share out on its own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So why don't we just play through that so we can see what we're working with here?
Okay.
The first thing I want to show you is
wrong way here. Do I start from here? There we go.
Now, an anxiety toolkit for me are, tangible items that I use to help mitigate and manage my anxiety. Obviously, this is not the full picture. These are just tools that I like to use that help aid my overall healing and mental health journey. The first.
That's cool. The skip was really pretty smooth. I'm so glad it took out the there.
Awesome. And what do you think about adding in, like maybe we start with, I wanted to share with you 5 things that are in my anxiety toolkit.
Yeah, I think that's great. Should we add that in here?
Yeah, let's try it.
All right. So I just, hello. I'll just highlight this whole thing.
Great.
Yeah. That's awesome.
All right. So if this is what you're going to want to share out, now somebody asked a question before, do we have to create a different composition for everything?
Mm-hmm.
In this case, let's do it just so people can see that workflow. You don't have to.
Sure.
Anything you export from Descript can be export by selection, but Carrie's just going to copy this or even clip to composition, clip to a new one.
There we go.
Awesome. And then we're going to go to the compositions little button. That's
there we are
right there. Yep.
Ah, yes.
All right. And so here's our clips. And now let's make sure it's set to vertical video again.
There we go. Yeah. I use this function. So I had like a webinar that was, oops, wrong one. It was like an hour and a half. So I wanted to share a couple of snippets. So it was really easy to, transcribe the whole like hour and 15 minutes of the webinar. I was able to highlight it and then put it into these clips so I could share it onto my Instagram, which was really cool. Someone was asking, how to repurpose the video, how to repurpose larger videos and stuff. This is a great way to repurpose webinars and stuff like that, or virtual events that you could host, taking those key points, those zingers, and putting them into a separate composition. So that's awesome.
Awesome. So here we have this one. Let's
Should I
you want to do an
grab more?
audiogram?
Oh yeah. Let's do an audiogram.
Do you know how to do an audiogram?
I think so. Let me just give it a try there. Oh, you know what? I go to share, right? Highlighted it.
Yep.
Share.
Or you could hit Command K and type the word audiogram.
Ooh, let me try that too. Command K, audiogram.
Create audiogram.
So
awesome.
cool.
So it lives within the share menu. So within share, publish, and this will also give you a chance to download it locally or publish it to a platform. So now, Carrie, you could, you see that it has, so first off, there's choices of selection and all. So if we were in the previous composition and we just had a text selection, you could just take that text selection, crank it out as an audiogram, and then move on. So sometimes what I would do if I had like a webinar is I'd find interesting sentences and just in place, I would just export them out as I go along. In this case, you already have your text selected. You could also click on all and it would export out the entire composition.
Yeah.
The same thing here. We're going to say an audiogram. And now you're seeing a preview of what it would look like. And we have a couple of templates with those right arrow keys and left arrow keys. What seems like it fits your brands the most?
For me, I feel like it would probably be this one, just because it's the most like calm, cool, collected one. So I like that a lot. That's awesome.
All right. So scroll down a little bit.
Okay.
You can choose if you want to show the composition title. So right now it just says clips from Anxiety Toolkit. This is where if you wanted a different title at the top, you could go back and rename your composition.
That's true. So I could do what is an anxiety toolkit, because that would make more sense with this.
And I think this is actually going to grab the name of the composition rather than that title.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so I would go back.
Yeah, just cancel out of here.
Okay. I would do it.
If we're going to do it, we might as well do it right.
What is an anxiety toolkit? Question mark. Cool. Man,
all right.
Hey.
Cool.
Audiogram. Look at that. Wow. Okay, cool.
Cool. So there's audiogram. That's the template you want. You're going to have the composition title. Do you want the speaker label in there showing the word Carrie?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm going to take my name out of there. Yes.
Awesome. So accent color. This is where you can start adjusting it to fit your brand.
Yeah, my brand color is a teal, so I like that there's like an automatic function here. But I also like that you can plug in your own, color codes. That's pretty awesome. But this matches for me.
Okay. And then background image. So if you did have, so there's numerous questions from people on how do you share out best practices for podcasts. A lot of the podcasts that we work with actually will put their cover art at this point in time. And then the team behind it, you can apply a little blur offline or do whatever you want. Do you have a cover image you want to use?
I don't have a cover image, but I can maybe find one.
Whatever you prefer.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably just keep it clean like this, just for image sake. But it looks like I can customize my badge.
Yes, you can. That would be where you put your logo in.
That's awesome. So do I click custom? All right. Blue logo. I think that's where it is. Let's see if that worked. Is my logo in there? Oh, nope, dude, that's wrong. I don't know if I have my logo for the mental health project on this, but that's where I'd plug in said logo, right?
Yeah, it is where you plug in your logo, and then it'll appear on the top right.
That's
so
great.
What Carrie,
here we are.
Awesome. So what Carrie's showing off, these are some of the customizations for audiograms that are available in Descript Pro. So Descript Creator and I believe even the free version have this built in, but not as many of the options in Descript Pro. The Pro subscription has this in there, and there's a 7-day trial. So look at that. There's your logo.
It looks so clean. I love that. Aw.
Cool. So let's take it all the way. Let's hit publish.
All right, publish.
So what this is going to do, this is both creating a standalone web page. So if you wanted to, you could share this page. This takes, maybe another 30 seconds to render, but it'll be, a page that opens up in the web, basically with your audiogram embedded in it. Because you're going to want to share this out, Carrie, you're going to click on, if you wanted to, you could click on open in browser. You don't need to now, but if you did, you could download it from that page. You can also see in the lower right corner, we're generating your audiogram on your desktop computer.
Yes, I see that. Oh, okay. So it automatically downloads as a video file onto my computer, so I can repurpose for Instagram. Awesome. Exactly. That's real cool.
Awesome. Cool. Well, let's close out of there.
Yes.
And that would be our audiogram, and we would upload that directly to social media.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Couple of quick questions that people have written in. Let's see. Thank you, Randy.
Randy, great picture. Love it. Oh, thanks. That's awesome.
All right. Okay, what if you have a recording and not a video and want to add in a static photo on top of the snippet? I can help with that in a second. Can you export both the video option with the audiogram on top of that, or do you need to export them separately and mix them in another composition? I will answer that as well. And then lastly, I see headliner as an option. Isn't this instead of headliner? So Carrie, do me a favor, click on the share button.
Sure.
And publish. And let's publish out our audiogram again.
Okay.
And just hit the publish button really quick. Okay. So what this actually is going to do, you see that there's a quick share at the bottom of the screen. So we do have one-click integrations where it would ask you to just authenticate with your Twitter account, and you can publish the audiogram there. You can also see you can quick share it to Headliner. That's that H logo that people see on the screen. Headliner is a very, very rich tool for creating visual assets for audio, and it's a very popular tool. We built in an integration with them so that way your audio and your transcript makes its way over to them, so that way you can do a very rich integration with Headliner if you want. Okay, cool. Thank you for that, Carrie.
Of course.
So that's an audiogram. How about people were asking about burning in captions for your what is an anxiety toolkit?
Yeah, that's great. Let me first grab some of these clips, and I'll just put it, for example, into the clip of the, yes, clip to composition existing, right? And then I can go to what is an anxiety? Oh, that makes it so simple. Yeah, so I think what next I would do is I would just grab through, these different parts that I want to highlight and then snip them into that composition. So I'll just do these two for now.
Cool.
And then I would love to caption them. So let me just move them to this Oh, it was already there. Excellent. Okay, so now I have like 3 tools in here. Sweet. All right, I would love to caption this.
Okay, cool. So in order to do that, the first question that we actually had was about captions. So do you want captions over the whole thing or just a section?
Definitely the whole thing.
All right. So let's do select all, Command A, or Control K on Windows.
Wow. Okay. Command A.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, wow. That was
right.
great. I have an inaccurate clicky mouse skills, so this is really nice.
Cool. All right, now hit Command K.
Command K.
And then type in captions.
Captions.
So this is in the spirit of just tell Descript you want to do something and we'll try to figure it out. So we call them fancy captions. I still don't know why, but they are. And now you see a purple bar that is on top of all of your waveform. And so that shows you over which period of the video we're going to have captions. In this case, it's over everything. And you see the clip properties carry for the captions appeared on the screen.
Yes.
So now I could choose from a few different fonts.
Fun. Okay, what is my fave? Ooh, I love a condensed font. Let's go.
All right. So we've got that. You can set, how you want everything aligned and whether you want it regular, bolds, the font size.
Nice. Let's do a little bit of bold. We're bold here.
Okay.
Let's get it. Going bold here. Fill color. That's great. Background color. I like using a background color because it makes it easier to see, like this white will sort of blend into the black. So whenever I'm using like stories and things, I always try to add a background color. Yeah, that's awesome. Wow.
All right. See, and you could customize that. You could even customize it to your teal if you wanted to.
That's true. Would I click this thing? I sure do. Look at that. Oh, wow. That looks so nice.
All right. So then stroke color. Stroke color is kind of the outline of the text. If you wanted to do that, kind of gives it a,
Use a black stroke color.
Great.
There we go. That work? Let's see. Oh, okay. I have to change it because now you can't see it because I didn't. Oh,
there we go.
Even more of a pop there. I like it.
And if you want to do me a favor and maybe make the video a little bit bigger so people can see it.
Yes, that's a good idea. So I do this.
Yep. There we go.
Oh my goodness.
Awesome. And fun fact, if somebody was working on, let's say, landscape video, that button at the very bottom underneath the generating audiogram would put the video at the top of the screen as opposed to on the right side.
Workspaces?
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
You could say move video, and you could try that just for fun, and then it'll put it at the top.
That's nice. Yeah.
With this aspect ratio is not really useful, so we'll just click on it again and say put it back on the side.
Nice. Are those the two options? I'm just seeing the arrows go up and then the side. That's great. Yeah.
Exactly. Cool. So we got that. I got a little shadow. You can adjust the position. So you can either use those sliders or just click on the video. Just click on the text and put it wherever you want it.
And there's the grids. That's great.
Exactly. And if you wanted it to, right now it's going to display one line at a time. If you wanted it to display, let's say 2 lines of text at a time, just make that rectangle bigger by clicking underneath. Yep, exactly. Just do that and just make it taller.
What was the word? Automagic?
Automagic.
Automagic. This is automagical.
All right.
Sweet.
How's this looking?
This looks really good. I mean, I love that I can make it my branded color. And then the one worry that I had was that, the light teal was not going to make the white pop, but I love that you can, customize the stroke, the shadow, so that could really stand out with the teal in the background. That's super cool.
Cool. All right. So maybe let's just hit the tab key and play through a little bit so people can see that the captions are working.
Sounds good.
I wanted to share with you 5 things that are in my anxiety toolkit. Now, an anxiety toolkit for me are, tangible items that I use to help mitigate and manage my anxiety. Obviously, this is not the full picture. These are just tools that I like to use that help aid my overall healing and mental health journey.
Sweet.
All right. Cool. So that's something that, I've started this session by saying I know nothing about social media, so don't listen to me. But is it fair to say that we should probably just have captions on most of the time?
100%. As mentioned before, you want to make it as accessible and, viewable as possible. And again, I think when I'm scrolling through videos, how many times do you scroll through videos and you don't use sound? That, it's super important to use that so that, especially if it's a text forward or script forward video, you want people to be able to engage and capture that so they'd be more interested in click through. So I would use captions all the time if you can. Yeah. Awesome.
Very, very cool. So we just showed how to do them very quickly. Maybe do you want to put a title at the beginning of this?
I do. Let's do it.
Do you know how to do that?
I do not. Let's learn.
All right. How do you think you would do it?
I'm going to Command K and look at title. Ah!
I love when that works.
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. I love that.
All right. So now a couple styles here. First, the title is going to appear on screen. I think our default is 6 seconds and then disappear. Why don't we have it appear on the screen for a few seconds before you start talking?
Yeah, I would love. I was gonna say if we could do a plain black background with the title, and then it goes into my talking. That would be great.
Awesome. So that way, let's click on the title, kind of the word near the word title, on that purple menu bar.
Purple menu bar. This one here.
That thing. Yes. So yes. This is kind of the timeline, and you can adjust your different layers. So as it says, drag to move. So just click it and drag it to the left.
Left to the left. Hold on, like Beyonce said.
Exactly. And now we're going to want to scroll over a little bit.
Okay, let me make sure I'm doing this correctly.
All good.
Ah, there we go.
There we go. So now you can, there we go.
Oh,
now you're starting to see how long it will be on screen with nothing else.
That's cool. I like that you don't have to put it in the same storyline as it, because sometimes that gets a little destructive.
Totally.
So I like that it's its own separate thing. And then if I click to the timeline here.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's great.
Cool. So now, if you think of what we did, we basically have inserted, 2.5 seconds or so of nothing. So no audio, no video. And then the title is going to sit over that period of nothingness. So now you can customize your title.
Actually, I'll do 5 things in my anxiety toolkit. Did that work?
We'll find out.
Oh, yeah. But this is really cool. Oh, yeah. Can't type. Let's see. I would probably space it out a little differently for. Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
That's awesome.
All right. Very cool. So again, there's some basic titling in here as well. If you had, do you have your logo handy?
I do. Yes. Should I grab that? I also wanted to add a little bit of B-roll.
Yeah. All right. So let's try to do both. Let's drag your logo and literally just drag it drag it at the right where those titles are in the script track.
Okay, let me grab Where is my logo? Hold on. In the script track?
Yeah, exactly. Where those like letter T's are. Just drag it right in there.
Oh. So wait a minute.
Or there too.
Okay. What if I just put it, if I want it with my title?
The heck, let's try it.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for flying without a net. This is actually the first time we've done something where Carrie's driving on her screen, and I'm kind of helping. It's much more real world, and it is very fun. Okay,
yes.
So now we can see where it is in the track. You can kind of click on it and drag it to the left.
Yeah, and could I make the background white, so that it matches the white back? You know, this is not the vector image of my logo. It has a white background. So in order for that to match, would I able to be change the color?
These are different layers. So the first thing, you want it to appear?
I'd like the title card to appear white so that this logo doesn't, so there's no white rim.
Got it. So the little hack, so go to the beginning of the composition.
Okay.
And you could do that actually by hitting Command K and typing 0.
Oh!
So
I love it.
Similarly, if I said go to 30 seconds, you could hit Command K and type 30S and it would go there. So
okay, we're
at 0. You're going to insert a white rectangle, and that'll effectively turn the entire screen white. So Command K and type in rect. There we go. Insert a rectangle. And that's going to put it in.
I see.
And now we're going to change the fill color of that rectangle to white.
And then I could just build it from there, I think.
And then just make it the size of the entire screen. And don't worry about it if it covers the whole thing. That's great. Just cover up the whole screen. And then now, if you can make your timeline a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Yep. So we can now see all the layers. Whatever's on the top layer is going to show through everything else. So just right click on the word rectangle.
Okay.
And then have that move it down a little bit.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
Right click.
Or right click in the center of the rectangle.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's try that. Might be a little bit. I noticed the arrow changed a little. Hold on. Ah, there we go. Okay,
move layer
down. Oh.
All right.
One more time. Let's do it.
Everybody's just on pins and needles.
Anticipation. Oh my goodness.
Hey, it's a little finicky, everybody. And
right click. Should I go on drag to this area?
I would, usually I click like right in the center of like that giant rectangle blob.
This one? Okay.
Yeah.
Am I
kind
doing
of chunky there?
Right click correctly. Maybe it's a me problem.
It's all good.
Can I just drag it?
Yeah, let's try that.
Ooh. Okay. Oh. Let's try it again. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay.
Sweet.
Layer down.
Awesome.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Very cool. So now your logo is actually is on top of the titles, and we can just shorten things to appear.
I see.
All right. So maybe you could make the logo a little smaller.
Oh, that's really cool.
All right. So with our 5 minutes in the home stretch, you've got your title in here. You've got your little logo. That's looking great. You've got my hack of changing the background color by inserting a rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
Right clicking is very fun. Kat kindly says, I like learning this way better, Jane Carrie. So Carrie will be invited back anytime and every time.
Oh, yay.
We do like a live learning tutorial, so this is great. And Jamie, really appreciate it. And Carrie, you ever hear this comment before?
I look like Haley. A compliment. it. Oh my God, Haley Steinfeld is a queen. So that is really great. Thank you so much.
Sweet. All right. Let's do one more thing before we wrap. You said adding B-roll.
Yes. So I have these like little B-roll pieces of, just showing the lavender oil, showing the photo reel. So I'd love to be able to add that like right where it says lavender essential oil.
Okay. Let's click there.
Click there.
All right. Click at lavender and then click the plus button.
The plus button. Okay.
Yep. And then say add video file.
Add video file.
Remove that.
Oh, goodbye.
There we go. I meant to say track.
Add.
So it looked like it was an option. The third one down.
There we go.
Cool.
That's exciting. I already imported it into my media library.
Well, super cool. Then to just drag it on top of the word lavender.
Amazing. Yes. It was cool. A tip for people who are editing, videos, make sure you label, like if you have B-roll, try to label what's in it. Otherwise it's super confusing. Like, if they all look like IMG 1946, it's super hard to keep track of. So what I did first was like I imported it, organized it, and it's great for you. And it's great if you have any editors, it's just much easier to find. So just a small tip, but an important one for me that I had to learn the hard way. So I put it there. Oh my.
All right. So you drag that in and now you see we're familiar with layers. So this is put it on top of your existing one.
That's awesome.
And you can see it will start at the word lavender.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just hit the tab key, maybe at a little beforehand.
Yeah, I'll do this.
See what happens.
I want to show you. Yeah. Quick question with that. Does that eliminate the audio, which is what I would like for it to do, just so there's no extra buzzing?
So click on the lavender B-roll.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh.
And you can see you can adjust the volume or mute track. So at the very beginning, somebody asked about the M and the S buttons, mute and solo. So here's a time when you're going to mute the audio in that clip.
That's awesome. I love a full circle moment, first of all, but that was also very helpful. Okay. Let's go to the first thing I want to show you is.
The first thing I want to show you is this lavender essential oil. Now, this is really helpful for me.
Oh, there we go.
Particularly when I am experiencing hyperventilation or extremely fast-paced breathing. Okay.
There we go. That's really cool. And then so if I were to put captions on top of that, I would just move that. I would do the right click, move to top.
Exactly. Or move the lavender one. Yep.
Or
move the lavender one down.
That's great. Look at that. Wait. Oh, this is auto magic.
Auto magical. So for everybody, as we're about at time, imagine the steps that you do from here. Now's the fun part. You've got B-roll. You're adding it in. You could add in images just as easily as Carrie did. My favorite trick for adding in images is, let's say you have a sentence where Carrie's talking about like lavender essential oil. If you highlighted just the sentence you want, highlight that, and then in your desktop, drag the image on top of the sentence that's highlighted, and we will spot an image, keep it on screen for the duration of that sentence, and then take it away again. Anyway, very, very cool.
That's awesome.
Let me do a quick rundown, make sure we get some of the quick hits before we break. Instead of automagical, it's descriptical. I love that. Let's see. Carrie, lots of love for you. You're doing absolutely love that. Thank you so much. Can we create titles for audiograms? Yes. So this would be renaming the title of your composition, like Carrie did earlier. And then exactly, what is Anxiety Toolkit? Can titles and fancy captions be a different color track inside the timeline so you can tell them apart more easily? So great idea, good feature request. Chris, if they have any other feature requests, I believe you're going to put a link on the screen where they would go to. We want to hear your feedback, and that's why you should all go to feedback.descript.com. Descript is unlike any other company. We listen to everything you're saying, more or less, and then prioritize it as best we can. The only reason I say more or less is we get a lot of requests. So go to feedback.descript.com and prioritize what you want to do and what you think we should do. And also go to our Discord channel if you want to meet other people like this amazing crowd who've been asking killer questions. If you want to keep the discussion going, keep it going there. And if you, I don't know, if you want to say hi to Carrie, she might be on there as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Carrie, we figured that this demo would take like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And here we are, we're already at time.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
I had so much fun. This is really, really cool. I learned a lot, particularly with shortcuts, you know? So this really boosted my own confidence in using Descript, and I'll definitely be completing this video, and, you know, I'll upload it onto my Instagram.
Awesome. So yeah, this is a great workflow. And now hopefully everybody can see, change the aspect ratios, choose things that are short and sweet and to the point, make use of visuals. It's very simple to do in Descript, but make sure to just kind of get the content sounding and looking good. If you have any questions, hit us up on Discord. Sorry I didn't get to everybody's questions, but please stay tuned. And again, keep the conversation going on Discord. Carrie, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Jay. This was so great. Thanks, everybody.
Bye all.
Bye.
See you next week.